Finally, Playerium has shared news with the information of the champion that's going to be the Fusion for February. We've been waiting for this video for the last week at least. It's been a very weird time always between Fusions because you never know what's going on. There's always a lot of events that will try to make you and drain you from shards. And the moment comes now when we reveal if the Fusion is going to be worth opening shards for or not. It's better skipping and saving shards or saving resources or going all in because the champion can really change our accounts. Let's have a look at her. Hi, Senda here and welcome to another raid video. In this case, like I mentioned, February Fusion, and it's a kind of a special one because in February is always Valentine's Day, and for the Valentine's Day or February's Fusion, it's not only one champion, always comes with a +1. And in this case, we've had really good one, really powerful ones, like last year I think it was, Ancora and Narcissus. A couple of years ago, same was Rotos and Sifi, but we also had some pretty shitty ones along the way, like Jetney the Giant and Asgore, I think, which are not terrible champions, but they're just not meta, not used anywhere really, so it can be a bit of a hit and a miss. Today we're gonna have a look at Esme. It's called Esme the Dancer, and at the first sight I thought it was like Armand's long lost sister or something like that, because she's from the same faction and because she looks very similar, as you can see. She has a very Armand Z vibe, but she has nothing to do with him. Armand is broken enough on his own, he doesn't need any partner, and in this case she doesn't pair with him, she pairs with another guy called Modo the Pearl that we're also gonna see in this video, and we're also gonna find out who is the good one of the two. Referring to the information they shared with us on Discord, here they say on Monday 10th of February, so almost a week from now, we're planning to launch a Fusion Fragment event for a new champion, Esme the Dancer. This champion is going to be from the Barbarians, Rarity Legendary, Support Champion and Affinity Force. And for what Playerium says, Esme is a versatile support champion who brings valuable utility for both PvE and PvE, offering a mix of buffs and debuffs. When paired with Modo of the Pearl, she unlocks even greater benefits for the team. So let's have a look at what is she like. Is she good? Is she bad? Can she really help your account, or is one of these skip fusions? Overall, spoiler alert, she's okay. She's very on the line to the Mad Hatter. She can do some work for some accounts. For some other accounts, she's going to be just, I don't know, an extra champion. Like a bit one more into the champion pool. Starting with the A1, we have attack one enemy and places an increased attack buffs on all allies. This is not bad, this is just free buff. Shame that it's only for one turn, but it's increased attack. That is going to pair really good with the other partner champion. That is indeed an attack champion. On her A2, Earth Dancer attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a weaken debuff and a block buffs for 2 turns. Weaken and block buffs, the first on the top of my mind, one of the main places that these two are very useful is the Hydra. Chimera is also very useful, but it says attacks all enemies. On Arena, weaken and block buffs, okay, it's useful, it's definitely not something bad, but it's not gonna flip the result of the match. So like I said, it's not bad, it doesn't annoy. However, it's 2 debuffs. This is chances of getting polymorph. Also decreases the turn meters of all enemies 20%. 20% is not too much. It's not Armand's. Armand steals all and places a stun, which is like, it's ridiculous, it's stupid. In this case, she only reduces 20%, it's a reasonable thing. It's very similar to Ustrid, which also was a fusion last year, I think, and you do see her every now and then. She also is able to apply AoE weaken and also decrease turn meter, so she could be also a little alternative in that sense. But if Modo of the Peel, and here you can see they call him Modo of the Peel, but on Discord is Modo of the Pearl. So I'm not sure how it's really going to be. If it's going to be the Pearl, is it going to be the Peel? I don't know what a Peel is, but I know what a Pearl is. But like I said, here is called Modo of the Peel. Is on the same team, steals 20% of its enemy's turn meter instead. Which means if we're in Arena, we're gonna decrease 20% from the enemy, but that 20% we're gonna steal it, so we're gonna get it ourselves. For enemies, 80%, which is almost an extra turn. Almost, not quite there, but 80% is a lot of turn meter. That's about it. Yeah, because with books, it just goes to 100%, so she will do this regardless. On her A3, places an increased accuracy and an increased speed buff, in Spanish, buff on all allies for 2 turns, which is not bad. It's not super necessary either. For Hydra, it's not super necessary. For Chimera, I think for Chimera it's actually quite good, because we're gonna need both of them. I think there's also one trial that asks that we need to have increased attack on. Weaken and block buffs also, they don't hurt to have them, and the Chimera can be pretty beneficial. But other than that, she doesn't. I mean, this decreased turn meter is not going to work against the Chimera, hence you're not going to be able to steal that turn meter either. On the A3, yeah, places these 2 buffs, which is okay, and 75% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies is also pretty interesting, a cleanse on the enemies. With books 100%, and if Modo of the Peel is on the same team, 75% chance of stealing all buffs from all enemies instead. All buffs from all enemies. This is again 100% Arena. She does some very interesting skills for Arena, however, mainly if she is with Modo of the Peel. The decreased turn meter and steal the turn meter is powerful in Arena, and on the A3, removing all buffs from all enemies and getting them herself is definitely useful in Arena. However, polymorph, both things, everything is a trigger for polymorph. And finally, here's kind of the I'm not gonna say that the tip of the kit, but it's definitely some interesting moves on a passive. When hit, has a 15% chance of randomly changing the attacker's critical hit to weak, normal, or strong hit. Basically, a weak hit means it's gonna hit you for nothing, and it's not gonna be able to apply any debuffs. Normal can apply debuffs, but the damage is not serious, and the same, strong hit is not important damage. The critical hit is the one that hurts. If Modo of the Peel is on the same team, the chance increases to 30%. This can be similar in a sense to Loki's passive. Okay, Loki is very similar in that sense. He also has a 15% chance of evading any damage, which means like he just cannot get hit, he's not there. And if he's under Veil or Perfect Veil, that goes to 30%. So in this case, she needs that 30%, I mean she gets that 30% if she's with a partner, otherwise it's just 15% of getting less damage essentially. And as an active effect, whenever this champion is hit, it increases the turn meter of the ally with the highest attack by 50%. And this is something interesting because it says the ally with the highest attack, not the ally with the highest crit damage or any other idea. So it's only gonna work with attack-based nukers. In this case, her partner, this Modo of the Peel, he is indeed an attack champion. But if we're going with other other defense-based champions, for example, we spoke about the Hydra, we spoke about the Chimera. Some of the best nukers there and some of the best damage dealers are defense-based. You have Nut, you have Marius. They're both defense-based champions. So in this case, this skill is not going to work for her, or at least she's going to give this plus 50% turn meter to someone else that has the highest attack. So not bad, but also limited, and like I said, it's going to work very good on Arena if she is with a partner. They're both mainly focused to be together on the Arena. Out of the Arena, she's pretty good in other places like Hydra, where the partner is not that as good. And finally, on Aura, all allies speed in all battles 19%. Not bad, but for example, useful in Siege, where the Arena Aura doesn't work. This is her, this is Diffusion. This is the champion that we're gonna get on the 10th. However, she's not going to be the only champion that's going to be added. She's going to come with Modo of the Peel or of the Pearl, we don't know yet, which is this dude here, which, oddly enough, he is from the Ogryn tribes, he's not from the Barbarian. What is he capable of? Well, he's interesting. I would say he's the good one of the two, and he's, like we can see, a Force Affinity attack-based nuker. On his A1, he attacks an enemy 2 times, 50% of decreased defense for 2 turns. 2 turns, this is pretty good. Normally it's 1 turn, and we have a lot of champions who only applied 1 turn. A 2 turns A1 attack, I was gonna say basic attack, A1 attack, it's not bad, but it's not gonna destroy enemies in Arena. So far, nothing like this hits that hard. On his A2, attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing stun debuffs for 1 turn, and places an extra hit on enemies under stun debuffs, which means double hitter. The thing here is that it says places an extra hit. It doesn't say attacks or places an extra attack, an extra hit. Normally when it says like attack the enemy twice or repeat this attack, normally these skills have high multipliers. The skills that says places an extra hit normally has different multipliers coded, because the first hit, let's say, if it's only 1 hit, is let's say 3 times the attack. But if it's 2 hits, each of the attacks instead of 3 is 1.5. So normally the multiplier when it applies its extra hits tend to be lower than if it's only 1 hit and then repeats the attack. But here we have essentially a double hitter with a very high chance of placing stun. If Esme the Dancer is on the same team, will always place an extra hit and also will ignore 20% of each enemy's defense, which means he's gonna hit pretty hard and we're gonna have a high chance of placing this stun. We'll always have the extra hit, so we know it's double hitter. This double hitter can be really interesting because, like I said, it's also a lot of control, it's a stun, and it's 2 hits with 100% chance of placing stun and also ignoring defense. So chances are you either kill the guy or the guy is gonna get stunned. So a pretty decent A2 because it's an AoE attack and that always works. On his A3, peel off the breaking. Here it says attacks all enemies, will ignore shield buffs. This is pretty good because in the arena you see a lot of shield buffs. And then damage increases by 75% chance, and then it says damage increases by 75% while attacking enemies under stone skin buffs. Which means like an increase of 75% is quite a lot of an increase, and that is aimed 100% to help us destroy the stone skin buffs without placing any sort of HP burn or bombs or anything. We're just gonna take them down by hitting them really hard. I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough, this 75% extra damage or damage increase to be able to destroy stone skin, but I'm sure on champions that are not that strong, for example, I don't know, not super tanky champions, HP nuker, this kind of thing, someone a bit weaker or something, someone a bit, for example, I don't know, Hefrak, to put an example, which is a weak champion, but you usually see him on a stone skin because of that. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure because I haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure that we will be able to destroy the stone skin just by smashing it like this. And if this attack removes 1 or more stone skin buffs, grants this champion an extra turn, which we're gonna use to smack them with the A2, double hitter, and stun. So you're not only gonna remove your stone skin, I'm also gonna hit you, and if you're still alive, I'm gonna place a stun after that. So pretty good combo, pretty interesting. Curious to see how much damage is this 75% chance if the enemy has a stone skin, and I guess like we said, we'll have to see. And here's a bit also the cherry on the top and what's gonna make this combo, these two champions, maybe useful in arena. Whenever this champion kills an enemy, places a stun on the enemy with the highest turn meter for 2 turns. 2 turn stuns, like I said, pretty good. Occurs once per skill, which means if we kill someone with whichever skill, we're gonna automatically place a stun unless the enemy is under block debuffs or stone skin or something like that. If Esme the Dancer is on the same team, this champion's skill will ignore 50% of each enemy's resistance, not defense. Which means like to apply the stun, for example, or the decreased defense is going to be much easier because we're not going to need that much accuracy. We can focus a lot more in damage. And also, this is the important, if Esme the Dancer is on the same team, places an intercept stack on this champion at the start of his turn. What does that mean? That means like we're going to be able to first start the fight, we smack the stone skins, once we destroy the stone skins, we're gonna get an extra turn, and with the extra turn, we're gonna be able to smack the enemies and place a stun. This stun, however, can proc polymorph, which means like when I'm applying a debuff, I can get polymorph back. However, this is when it takes place. The intercept is gonna intercept, like the name says, one of these polymorphs. It doesn't happen very often, but if there's two enemies or two or several enemies with polymorph blessing, and we're trying to apply polymorph to both of, we're trying to apply stun to both of them, maybe the first champion actually wants to polymorph us, and then that's why we have this intercept here, so we're gonna cancel that. But maybe when we apply stun to the second champion, that's also gonna reflect the polymorph back to us, and in this case we're not gonna be protected because we're only gonna have one stack of intercept. So this is a pretty interesting combination. Like I said, I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to see them a lot in arena. I'm very curious to see how hard this guy hits. Like, we have something here. I think we're onto something, at least to fight Stone Skin in arenas without being too scared of being polymorphed. However, we're gonna need to bring two champions to do that. We're gonna need one to place the intercept, at least because this only works if Esme is on the same team, and also another one to destroy the Stone Skins and to smack under. So I don't know, we're gonna have to see, we're gonna have to test them properly. I think arena is gonna be the main place, especially against team with the Stone Skin. As Aura, increases all ally attacks for 30%, so it's not bad, it's not mind-blowing. Normally attack arenas that are not used in many places, but this is all in all the two champions, or both of the champions, that are gonna come to the game in February. Remember, Monday the 10th of February, the fusion comes. We have no idea yet how to get the other guy. I think the other guy is kind of the strong one of the two, but definitely she can also get things done depending on your account. That's all for the video. Thanks a lot for watching. Any questions or any doubt, you can always leave them down in the comments. Over here, a recommended video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.